I thought it would bring meaning to your son's death.
You know what would give meaning to his death? It's a Terminator!
And we're fighting a Terminator. One that we can stop.
Do you believe in fate, Ciara? Or do you believe that we all can change the future every second by every choice that we make? You chose to change the future. You chose to destroy Skynet. You set me free. And now, I'm going to help you protect the girl. Because I choose to. I won't be back.
We're coming to an end of another one of our retrospectives. And today we are saying goodbye to Ani and the gang and the T-800. We say goodbye to the Terminator franchise with Terminator Dark Fate.
Chewbacca back again then, I see.
Yeah, I forgot that.
I ain't going to be honest. I'm not jumping ahead as I often do.
Yeah, you are.
But
yes, you
no,
are.
I'm not. But I'm going to say it's probably a good thing that the Terminator franchise is resting, let's just say, because, well, we'll get to it.
All right, so this is directed by Tim Miller, who did the original Deadpool. He created the Sonic films, so he's got some good street cred. And written by James Cameron and David Goyer. David Goyer has, fucking hits out of the park a lot of times. He wrote the Nolan's Batmans.
Oh, yeah, he's a great CV.
Blade, Dark City, the new Hellraiser. So, guy can really, branch out when it comes to genres. So I watched this. I watched it a couple times. I've been talking about it as the podcast goes, and I read the reviews on it as well. And this is getting worse reviews than Genesis, and has that horrible Rise of the Machines. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck movie are you people watching? Because I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't understand how you piss on this movie, as bad as these reviews are, and yet you have a hard-on for fucking Judgment Night. Judgment Day. And I don't get it. I don't. I see very competent film here. It's not a fucking epic, but I can see where Cameron was going as a complete trilogy for part 1, part 2, and Dark Fate to be the conclusion. Because when you watch Dark Fate and you watch all 3 films, this isn't about John Connor's journey. This isn't about Sarah Connor's journey. It is actually about the T-800's journey. Arnie.
Okay.
That's what I've taken out of this film so far. Now, we'll go over it, but we talked about this Halloween Ends and with Indiana Jones, and I just don't understand where you guys are seeing your films. Are you seeing different versions of films? I don't understand it. The hate on Salvation, the hate. I don't get it. I'm not saying this is, like I said, again, it's not an epic, but fuck, this is a good fucking time.
Just to address the first thing we were saying about the hate, there is a trend these days for people to overhate things. It becomes like an echo, basically social media, echo chambers on social media, and it's seen like the cool thing to do, but the shit on these franchises and stuff. But at the same time, and this is very important, a lot of the blame does lie with the likes of Disney and stuff for basically shitting out bad films, essentially. Now, regarding
what
the
does
Terminator,
Disney have to do? What does Disney have to do with Paramount?
I said the likes of Disney. I wasn't talking about Disney. Now I'm coming to it. Let me finish. The likes of the Terminator franchise.
By my head.
Well, yeah.
Wow, Kitty's got claws tonight. Kitty's got claws.
Right. Regarding the Terminator franchise, definitely nowhere near as bad as Genesis. But I think the problem with this film is so many Terminator fans were so burnt badly by Genesis, they were going in with very low expectations anyway. Also, there was a whole argy-bargy on Twitter and social media and stuff with the director, like, having pops at fans of the franchise and stuff like that. So that didn't help matters, I have to say. And even Tim Miller himself says, although he didn't refer to that specifically, he says that basically he now reckons that basically he blew it with this, you know. Now, you know, I mean, there's multiple reasons. It's a different world we're living in these days. It's a different film world, you know, all fueled by social media. But is this film as bad as people are making out? No, it's not. But the main problem I have with it is it's just the same old regurgitated story that we've seen in basically every one of the Terminator films, apart from Salvation, which I will stand by my guns and say is underrated and one of the best sequels of the franchise. And at least it dared to attempt to step outside the box and do something different with the franchise, unlike all of the rest of them, which are just copy and paste and give us the same story.
No, I disagree with your review completely. So let's just dive into it.
Okay.
And see why you're a stupid face.
I mean, there are other problems with this film, but we will.
Oh, don't go another 40-minute rant. Don't do it, man.
I'm not.
Don't do it. Don't do it, please, God. I'll give you one Doctor Who reference if you don't go on a rant. All right, in this one we got Linda Hamilton back. It's nice to see her. Sarah Connor. We got Adi as the T-800, always or Papa.
Yeah,
Daddy
Pops. Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah.
Like,
well, we'll get into that one. Carl, I think is what his name, what he wants to be called.
Carl, yes.
Mackenzie Davis, who I like, as Grace. Natalie Reyes as Danny, who is
bad.
Yeah, we need somebody cast in there. Gabriel Luna, who I loved as the Rev 9. Fucking badass villain. This fucker is badass. We talked about the Terminators. You give us good villains, I'm on board, and you gave us one here. So fuck up, you bunch of haters.
He's all right. He's not that good.
Stop. I mean, he's not all right. He's the T. He's
no Robert Patrick.
And let me finish. Don't fucking interrupt.
No. Can he get claws?
Yeah. This kitty's got fucking big claws.
I'm a tiger.
Because I'm telling you right now, the fucking Rev 9 is a mishmash of two of the T-800 and the T-1000, because he can jump out of the exoskeleton, and the exoskeleton can fight, and he can fight as Liquid Man. It's fucking awesome.
I do like the that effect.
No,
by the way,
you can't. You just said you hated it.
No, I didn't. Fuck up. No,
you said it was a piece of shit. You just said it.
Right. I mean, he's good. And he is effective, and he does a good job. But I mean, you're talking here as if it's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's not.
It's not, but it's fucking badass.
It's good, but it's not.
And
Robert
I'm going to
Patrick.
tell you, I'm so fucking tired of.
You know, the actor who plays the T-1000 in Genesis is better.
What?
No.
You're talking about Ewan. No. You're not. I'll understand what I'm saying at all.
He's a good villain, but in the Stark Fate, I've already said it. I don't want to talk to you
right now. I don't want to talk to you right now.
So the
you're banned for 30 seconds.
Sin bin.
All right, so I like the beginning where we see the old footage of Sarah being interviewed by Silverman.
Yes.
And it brings you back into the old school, saying, okay, we're going back to the original formula. We're sticking with the original characters.
The original timeline.
So kind of what Halloween did, they just chucked out all the others.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that they're going this direction. And I do like how it then transitions to this almost like D-Day invasion of the T-800s coming out of the water, and you see all these skulls and bones on the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And then it cuts to Sarah saying 1998 never happened. Thanks to me and John. No, 98.
No, 1997 was Judgment Day.
No, 98.
No, it was 97, but then we'll go to 1998, and that's when Arnie comes out of the water.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, but she was showing what would have happened.
Yes.
And then we obviously never happened thanks to myself and John.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the controversial scenes here. And I'm going with it. I have a little problem, not the CGI. I'm cool with that. But it's a few years later, so Edward Furlong would be a little more aged a little more, I think. He pretty much looks like what he did in 92. or 91, whatever it was. So it's about 6-7 years later, but that's fine. But I do like the fact that we're going to write him out, and the T-800 shows up with a shot-off shotgun and blows him to shreds.
I would say, regarding the killing of John Connor, this is another factor that pissed a lot of fans off before this film was even released, whenever it was leaked, that John was getting killed basically in the opening scene. That pissed a lot of fans off. I actually think that it works in that John's character arc had nowhere else to go with the previous films, so it sort of makes sense a lot. But what I would say as well is, what I would have had with this film is, John, fair enough, yeah, be edgy, get John killed in the first opening scene basically, and then just have Sarah Connor, played by the great Linda Hamilton, and Arnie basically on a head-to-head, just the two of them on their own. We didn't need, Mackenzie. We didn't need the young Latino actress. It would have been absolutely kick-ass and superb if they had played it really gritty, like the original, completely in the tone of the original, and just have a badass Sarah Connor and a badass Arnie basically going head-to-head, like a road film, chasing each other over the place and blowing the shit out of each other. That would have been amazing.
I liked the Mackenzie character, Grace. I liked her a lot, actually.
She can act.
She's very good in this. Mackenzie Davis, I think her name was.
She can act.
And I really liked her. I didn't like Danny, but the reason they killed John was because he needed another savior for the new battle, and that's who Danny is in the future. The only problem is she's just not believable. You needed somebody like Melissa Barrera, who was in the Scream films recently, and we just talked about her in Abigail. Mm-hmm. She would have been good if you wanted that Hispanic, or even remove her and put the brother back in. That was played by Diego Luna. Diego Bonato or something.
Right.
He's a nice little actor. He's been around for a bit. He could have played that part.
Or have the savior of the human race being Sarah Connor. Yes, she's a bit older, but so what? I mean, going by this film, she's clearly still got it. Linda Hamilton as well, obviously. So, you could just have had Sarah Connor being the savior of the human race for John, after John gets basically killed by the Terminator in the first scene.
Yeah, but I think
Danny is, like you say, completely, you just can't buy it. It's like Emilia Clarke as Sarah Connor in Genesis. There's a particular scene where it's like a flash forward to the future, where you see her like getting everybody, going, the future sort of survivors, and it's completely unbelievable. You can't take it serious.
Yeah, no, I mean, she, like I said, she's not too believable. But when the film starts out, we meet her family and so forth, and from that opening sequence all the way to the chase scene in the streets with, he's got the bulldozer.
It's a very impressive
little truck. It's fucking awesome. I mean, it doesn't stop to the fighting in the factory.
It's probably the best scene in the film.
It's one of them. The plane scene's up there for me too, but it's just, it doesn't stop. Mm-hmm. It's just non-stop. And this thing is a fucking machine. This thing's a beast. And I like her, Grace, and how she's still emotionless, but she does have emotion, because technically she's still human.
She's augmented.
She's augmented super soldier.
Yeah.
But this whole fight sequence lasts, 15, 20 minutes? It just doesn't stop. And no CG. All these cars are fucked. This bulldozer is crashing through these cars. And then it just, even the way the moves and the choreography of the fight in the factory when she shows up to take him down, and how she tried. Yeah. And these hands have become these swords, or pretty much his weapon of choice, and how she crushes him in the factory with that little crusher thing, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. It just wouldn't stop. And what I like about her is they even tweaked that line, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah.
She goes like, "Come with me or you're dead in the next 30 seconds."
Yes.
So I like how they tweaked that, make that line her own. But this first 20 minutes of this film, I'm in 100%. I'm not going anywhere.
I have to be honest and say that I did very much enjoy it as well, and it's edgy and gritty, and it's a great sequence. It's the best in the film.
Yeah, it is. I mean, when she's throwing the poles at him from the back of the truck, and the poles are going through, and then he can use the poles to transfer his out part of his. He can use that metal part to absorb onto them, and just leave his exoskeleton in the car.
Behind.
And then the exoskeleton comes out to fight, and they got the exoskeleton, and then you got him, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we're dead. We get." And then in comes Linda Hamilton with the fucking awesome bazooka grenade gun shit. Badass as she is, just blowing the fuck out of everything. I mean, fuck.
Linda Hamilton.
And you killed the brother. Didn't see that one because, like I mentioned, Diego Bonotto, I'm butchering that. He's actually an actor that people know. So to kill him off in the very first 20 minutes is, didn't see it coming. So, and I like that because then it's what we weren't getting, especially with Genesis, is peril.
Well, I would say as well, I would just add on to that Linda Hamilton is by far the best actor here.
I think Danny's
terrible.
I think Arnie's Arnie. I like Arnie in this one.
Well, he's better.
And we'll discuss it when we get to him. But I think that's not fair. I think Mackenzie, if it was just because the T-800, Arnie doesn't show up for a while, about half the film.
Yeah, I know.
And it's really Linda Hamilton because he's top billing. So
she's carrying the film.
It's her film. I would like to have seen, maybe you're right, remove Danny and have Grace there. So if you had Linda Hamilton and Grace's girl power thing, that would have worked for me because these two are the best thing in the film.
Well, I would say as well, there's a sort of elephant in the room that we're not really addressing. And I don't want to get super sort of film school nerdy, but there is overt political commentary here. This film was made shortly after the whole Me Too thing. And I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying it is right or wrong. I'm just saying it is a thing in this film. But after the whole Me Too thing, it was made shortly after that all came out about Harvey Weinstein and stuff. So this is very much a female-centric film, a feminist film, And even when Arnie comes into it later, so the brother was always going to get killed off, just like John Connor, because basically they're men. They're male heroes, or potential male heroes. But also later on, when Arnie comes into it, even his character, Carl, his job, and I'm getting super sort of film school student nerdy here, but his character, his job is a draper, which sounds very close to raper. So there's also
dude,
no, I'm being serious.
You're just reading this shit on some fucking nerd.
No.
Fucking
and I would
TikTok
say as well,
site.
No, not
That's
at all.
Stupidest shit.
It's not. I know the way these writers' minds work.
Fuck off.
I'm serious.
You had that.
And I haven't finished.
Stupid.
I haven't finished. Also, there is.
Oh, great. He hasn't finished.
Obviously, there is a lot of political subtext here about the sort of the proposed wall in Mexico from Trump that never happened. But again, I'm not saying these things are right or wrong. I'm just saying they are. There is a lot of political overt subtext here. But that, I'm just stating it as a sort of.
Listen, here at Citizen Frame, my opinion or Trevor's opinion doesn't mean I take in what Trevor says, what his opinion is. Yes, he wants to be clearly a sexist pig. I understand that.
All.
That's no. That's okay. You're a sexist pig. No, let's just move on.
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm saying it as a thing.
No, listen. No,
it's
okay. It's okay. You want the testosterone-filled Predator film. God forbid you have two strong female leads. That's okay. No, that's okay. You're a sexist. We'll move on.
I think Linda Hamilton's great.
No, okay. Forget it. It's over.
Right, go ahead. Okay?
I'll make sure I'll hashtag both these actresses.
Well, we have to discuss these things.
Then they'll go, wow. And I was going to buy the new issue of Phantasm Glory.
Shut up. No, but we can't avoid these things, you know what I mean? If we're going to give proper, honest, and concise and in-depth...
I think to me, it's petty.
No, but it's worth mentioning.
No, it's not. Why?
Because it's a part of the film?
The film works still.
Yeah, well, aspects of it do.
Yeah, but they work. Linda Hamilton and Mackenzie, the ones you said shouldn't be in it because they're women.
I did not say
that. They make the film. So your point's moot to me.
No, but I'm just
And
saying,
if
worth
it's
mentioning.
modernized Raper, give me a fucking break. In fact, it's quite the opposite, because he is the stay-at-home dad.
Yes, I know. Well, I'm not saying that that's what they're saying Arnie's character is, but it's a commentary on men and also the fact of what he's done to John. He's basically, the way basically Linda Hamilton's Sarah feels about him. He's destroyed her life, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of subtext
but that works, and that's what I want to get to.
I know what I'm saying.
This is why I think Cameron got involved, wrote this, because I think he wanted, and this arc is Arnie's journey, and I really do believe that, and we'll get to that, because his character, despite it being a robot, he talks about it. He starts growing a conscience, and he understands what he did was wrong, and he knows the day is gonna come where he has to self-sacrifice, which he does. It's despite the silliness of it, when you think about it, when you talk about it, it's silly.
Yes, it is.
But he fucking sells it. I don't care.
No, Arnie's performance is
we
fine
have this
here.
argument all the time. Let me finish. Listen. I let you have your sexist rant. let me finish. Arnie can fucking act. And
better
you
over
never
the
say.
years.
You always say he can't. He can.
He's got better over the years.
No,
He's brilliant
stop.
in the first
You say
Terminator.
that all the time. You say that all the time.
Arnie is decent
Arnie's
here.
really upset with you right now. He told me.
Arnie, I wouldn't like to think
He's
he's upset about Arnie. Arnie, his performance here is fine. So it is.
No, it's not. It's his best performance in a Terminator film.
No, the first one is, to me.
Come on, anyone could have done that.
No, not anyone. I couldn't do it. Imagine me as a Terminator
Oh,
coming
Jesus
back in time.
Christ, that'd be the worst fucking film ever.
Coming back to
That'd be
save
the
Citizen
worst fucking
Freedom
film.
from Ciaran
Jesus.
fucking up a podcast. Yeah,
Oh
send
my
me back in
God.
time.
Fuck
That'd
hell.
be a better Kyle Reese, actually. So it would.
All right, let's jump back into this.
Go ahead.
I apologize to our listening audience. I didn't know Trevor felt that way about women.
Again, like I said, I would just like to underline, I'm not saying it's a right or wrong thing, but it is in this film, whether people like it or not. It's just a thing.
So, I do like the flashback. We talked about this. I don't think you seem to be on board with the film so far. And
Yes.
the one thing the Terminators were missing was grittiness.
Mm-hmm.
And they really do show that, especially with the Mackenzie. That's why she's a necessity in this, because, yeah, you make her a woman, so right there the audience is going to be more, she's more vulnerable. That's not sexist. That's just you perceive you put a woman in peril,
Mm-hmm.
you're more going to be intensified for that character. So here she is. You see this war scene, and great little grenades being popped in by these little Terminators, octopuses, whatever the fuck they were.
Yeah.
Really cool. And she obviously gets blown up by one, and it's how she begs for them to, augment her. I need to be augmented. It's dark. It's bloody. Another thing about this film, it's grittier as in the violence. The violence is up a bit. Not much, but it's still up to...
Well,
it's
certainly
up
a
to
lot more from the likes of Genesis.
Genesis, even Salvation, and definitely from Rise of the Machines. So I don't get why these three are getting better reviews than this one. I still don't get it.
I think this is definitely better than Genesis. I mean, 100% better than Genesis. But I would say it's better than 3. But for me, I think that 4, Salvation, is better than this one because it goes outside the box and tries to do something different. That mainly.
Yeah.
One of the main issues I have with this film, actually, is not really a lot of stuff we've talked about, but mostly the fact that it's just the same story regurgitated, and that it's the same copy and paste from 1, 2, 3, and 5. You know,
they are. That's the story.
Salvation's not, but yes.
I mean,
but whatever.
yeah, it's a prequel. I mean, it's going to be a little different, of course. It's going to, I mean, but I like the fact where you find out, you get tired of these one-line fixes, but they quickly rectify when Danny asks, "How do you know where we were?" And Linda Hamilton goes, "Well, I've been receiving these text messages. I've been receiving them for the past quite a few years now when a Terminator is going to land, and I will be there to confront them." I actually would like to see all those text messages and her kicking ass. That would be kind of cool.
Or Arnie sitting in bed, texting. Again, I have a lot of questions here. How does Arnie know when a Terminator's arriving or when a Terminator's in the area? Is he hunting them as well? Also, how does a Terminator grow a conscience? That doesn't make sense. There isn't even a one-line fix for that. It's just like, the only thing.
No, he does
Terminators,
talk about that. No, I mean, Sarah says that too. She said the exact argument you says, but they do kind of address it. He does say, when I met his friend and helped raise her son, because he was programmed to do the one killing. That's it. That was his program. He has done his job, and it was a one-way ticket. So he said he had to learn to adapt to the surroundings, and he found this woman in need and had, I believe, an abusive husband.
Yeah.
And he helped raise the son. So, and he doesn't have a conscience. He does have a conscience, but I don't think it's a conscience. He's just more aware
so it's magic
of how it works. No, I don't think he's there. He's programmed. He's learning as he goes. He was supposed to be a one-trick pony. That's it. And blah.
Yeah.
But what they didn't realize was that him being on the planet so much longer than he was, that they didn't realize that the T-800 could adapt.
I think it would be better.
And you got to realize they did this. They did this with Judgment Day.
Yes, I know that there, but I think it would have served the audience better if they had have explained it more like we're talking about it now, and that they could have said.
I
yes,
think they do okay. You know what? And that's another thing I like about it, to piggyback on what you just said. The one thing this film definitely does right, that part 2 didn't get right. They fucking went on for 40 minutes talking about, ooh, I love my father, you're my father figure, and don't hurt people. Here, they data dumped real quick and moved on.
Yeah, well, there's no
to get to the next action scene.
Well,
and
there actually is some corny humor in here, but it's very subtly done. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's none of the doctor the hand or any of that nonsense.
And I love the fact when Arnie's going to self-sacrifice the first time, you think he's not going to. I won't be back.
That's actually the best line in the film.
Yeah,
that's
a great line.
It's actually quite sad.
Because when you think about that line, he says it. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger saying, "I won't be back," and it is really him saying goodbye to the action genre.
Yes, exactly. There's a poignancy to it, and it also obviously sort of foreshadows his obvious sort of self-sacrifice later on. For John.
Now, I do like the story, how they changed it a bit. It's no longer Skynet. And that's how this AI program, Legion, I think it was called.
Legion, yeah.
And Grace tells the story, how they shut down all the electronics and all the lights, all the power. So we were we had no power and no means of communication. And then the nukes on day 2. Day 3, the war, and then the cleansing, where they just started wiping out humans. And they show that. Again, I'm positive, Trevor, I'm getting through to you, that this is a lot better film than you initially just watched. Because as I'm talking about it, I'm even liking it more. I hope people listen to this podcast, all joking aside, and I make jokes, and we have a good laugh. But at the end of the day, as I'm discussing this with you right now, I think it's a much better fucking film. And I hope people do watch it again and go, okay, maybe there was at least something here.
It's nowhere near as bad as some people are making out. I would definitely say that. And also, just going back to the Legion thing, we have seen Legion done before in the previous film. Legion is basically just Genesis. But here, it is done much better than that nonsense that we had with Matthew Smith in the previous film,
Yeah,
So
100%.
It's a lot
100%.
more effective here. So it is. And yes, there is a lot of very strong points about this film, but there is stuff. Maybe I'm being overly nitpicky.
You are.
I think
that's fine. But the problem is, I think you're being fooled. And I think that's what the average viewer is. You kind of said in the beginning of the podcast where people already have prejudged this. Same thing with Indiana Jones.
Well, I try
so
not
they're
to.
going to go in that this is going to suck. And despite them seeing something a lot better, but they're not really getting it because they don't want
They've been
to.
affected by the echo chambers. Yes, no, I get what you're saying. And I think to a certain extent, everyone is affected by what you put in and what you watch and what you listen to on, social media and stuff. And, I think that's just something that can't be avoided by everyone. But the trick is to sort of, as best as you can, to put all that to the side and go into a film or a book or whatever it is, a TV show, and just be a total independent thinker and we'll bring all our own shit to things, our own experiences, our own sort of likes and dislikes to reviews, you know what I mean? That's just the nature of these things in our own sort of life experience. But, the trick is definitely to, as best as we possibly can, just to be completely independent and critical thinking, but also fair.
Yeah, and I think the fair is a perfect word. I think people need to be more fair with this.
Yeah. It's nowhere near as bad as people are making out.
I love when the Rev 7, I love the hunt and how we actually see how he gets to them each time they escape. And I love the drone scene when they're in the like you mentioned, the PC border patrol.
I like that scene, by the way.
I love that scene.
Yeah.
And there's a great shot when the Rev 7 is looking at the radar. He just got done killing 4 people. He killed so many people on this. It's awesome.
Well, he's also very much 21st century advanced Terminator in that he can do all sorts of shit that like Arnie and stuff couldn't do.
It's almost like what they did was, remember we talked about the one cool thing. I liked the one thing about the sexy TXE from she could plug into computers and do this and this.
Yes.
He can do all this shit too.
But he's also
it's almost a blend of every Terminator we've met.
But he's also got a sneaky personality where he can trick people and stuff. Whereas Terminators before, yes, they could mimic voices and stuff and, pretend to be like fucking Sarah Connor's mother and the likes, or John Connor. Yeah. But this is much more, there's much more thought getting into it by the Terminator. The bad Terminator here.
Like the scene where, in the beginning, where he goes to see the father.
Yeah.
To ask him where Danny is. And then we see the father in the factory. And then Mackenzie says, that's not your father. Why? Because in order for him to take form of your father would have to be dead.
Yeah.
So that was a good line too.
Well, that's also a callback to the first two where, in the first one where Kyle Reese says to Sarah, your mother is dead. And also then in the second one where Arnie says to John Connor, it goes, your foster parents are dead, whenever he's asking for the dog. So that's a callback to that. Yeah.
So again, that's probably Cameron. Peppering in some of his original stuff in there to let people know that I'm back to do this. I want to hopefully end this story right. But yeah, I do like the drone segment a lot. And the shot was talk about when the Rev 7 is looking at it and you see he's looking just right into the PC and we see it into his eye and you see the redness of the eye. And then the eye, we pan back. We're actually looking at the drone he's controlling. It's a great little, quick cutaway. And then you cut to, you just have all these action scenes, and there's not a lull. There's a little lull here and there that you have to have data dump, but it's just each scene. There's something they just add something different. They don't copy and paste a lot. Each action scene brings its own A game, and I think that's another thing I really like about it. It's not just car chases. You had that in the beginning. You're not topping that. We'll get the plane one coming up next, but this one now, they're in the detainee camp, and she's being poked and prodded, and they're looking underneath her skin, and they can see that she's got some metal in there. It's actually quite creepy. They're examining her.
I would say that this film, certainly compared to the sequel, certainly 3 and 5 at very least, it's much better paced in that we have the big action set pieces and stuff, but there's also those sequences where it's time to catch your breath and get to know the characters a bit better and stuff, especially when Arnie comes into it.
And there's nice little things where Mackenzie Davis, the best thing she can do at this point is to free the Mexicans, the detainees.
Yeah.
Because that will cause chaos.
Yeah,
and then the Rev 7 jumps on top of the cages and starts running, and he starts just gutting all these soldiers. And there is one little, I'm praising it, but it's got issues, don't get me wrong. And it's the scene where they get to the cop, they're running away, and they go to the chopper, right? And there's Linda Hamilton. Oh, guys, wait for me. Like, where you come from? I thought that was a little convenient.
Well, yes, I know that there, but yeah, I did like how Mackenzie is basically saying, basically, fuck you, Linda Hamilton. We're having a time. The most important thing here is saving Danny. So she wants to leave her behind, but it's actually Danny that says no and sort of to stop and sort of get Linda Hamilton back. Because at this point, basically Mackenzie and Sarah Connor don't get on still.
Yeah, I think that's the whole point. And then you also had to show why Danny is so important. She's not going to leave anyone behind. But we do find out that Daddy's not the reason. The reason they want her dead is her baby is going to be the reason they want her dead, because it's the baby that becomes this pioneer or whatever.
Is it not Danny herself?
No,
that was the red herring. The red herring is that when Sarah Connor said, "Oh yeah, don't tell me your son's going to be the savior," and all this here.
That's right. Yeah, I flipped
it's
him.
A red herring.
That's right.
Yeah,
she is the savior. I got it. Yeah.
It's herself, because that's why you get the flash forward scene where she's leading the troops, completely unconvincing. But
when she saves Grace, that's why she's willing to go, because she saved Grace when she was a little kid. From the scavengers. That whole speech she gives was like, oh, fuck off.
She's too small and she's no presence.
Here's the problem. I'm surprised they didn't cast somebody a little more, like, I don't want to say manly, but a little more tomboyish.
With more presence. Somebody even like a younger Juliette Lewis or something,
Yeah, the problem I have with it is she's built and she acts way too much like Amelia Clarke.
Yeah, I know. It's exactly what she reminded me of. Amelia Clarke with Sarah Connor. And saying that there, what I would say, John Connor in the second Terminator 2, is a whiny little dickhead and an annoying teen. So you're saying, what, this little shit's going to be like the leader of humanity? But the problem here is that in the flash forward in Terminator 2, you see him, he's this grizzled sort of warrior. Here, whenever you see Danny leading the troops, you just can't bat because she's no real presence or physique, Yeah,
that's true. She is the downfall of some of this film. So we meet Arnie. We'll go over it again. Talked about how he's become
nice.
Kind of understands why he's there.
Yeah.
This
is another thing. I want badass Arnie in every single Terminator film, and I'm sick. It's just a broken record.
You do.
I know.
You do. Once he leaves us, that's my point. Once you do the daily dump sappy crap, it's over. He's there to self-sacrifice. He's there to kick everyone's ass.
Yes, I know what but I want evil Arnie. I want Arnie from the first one. I want Arnie being a bastard.
But that dude, then you should hate the Terminators, because now the Terminator original is a standalone. There's more of these now than there is that Terminator. So you got to either go with it or not at this point. You're not getting that already.
With no choice.
You get no choice. So you either get on board or you don't. But there's some good stuff. Like we talked about how there's some humor, and it's just like, why is she? Does she know about you? And he goes, how do you, pretty much, how do you fuck? And he's like, we don't have that kind of relationship.
It's not the
I'm
physical
reliable.
relationship.
I'm a good listener, and I'm extremely funny.
Yeah, well, that's the sort of humor, but it's more subtly done as opposed to, now I want you to mate, in the last film and all that nonsense with Talk to the Hand and the Elton John glasses in 3. So, this is better.
Oh, I know. Exactly.
It's more subtly done.
Yeah, exactly.
It's more deadpan.
Yeah, that's it. And then you move on. And then what I liked also about it was Sarah. Sarah was going to kill him, and he wasn't going to fight back. He understood that. I do like when she suits him, and he's like, how am I supposed to explain this?
Yeah, holding his shirt. Well, I would say that Linda Hamilton totally sells these scenes.
Yeah, but she doesn't really say it, but you can see from her face that she wants to kill him, but she can't because she knows he needs him.
Yeah, because Linda Hamilton can act, and even whenever it's not without dialogue, unlike
that's why I give
Amelia Clarke in the last one.
And that's why I give exactly, and that's why I also give Mackenzie Davis props, because she's almost like a younger Linda Hamilton. She's almost could have played, if you ever read May, Terminator, she could play Sarah Connor. That one.
And she is very good in the role. She can act, Mackenzie Davis.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, so he says goodbye to the family. I was like, oh.
I know. His annoying son, who's hardly in it.
Now we come to the cargo plane, the chopper fighting the cargo plane, to the plane fighting the cargo plane. This is another. I mean, it's like planes, trains, automobiles.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's the A team. It becomes the A team at this point.
It does. But
Big
you know
budget
what?
A-team.
Oh, fucking good.
No.
I mean, this
good
is
stunts
fun
and special
stuff.
effects and stuff. Yeah, no, I'm not denying that. And I'm an A-team fan, so it's big budget A-team. So it is, and that's fine by me.
Like when the Rev 9 falls from the sky, lands in the guy's shed, smashes, destroys it, and he walks out. Sorry about your shed.
Yeah. Well, that's more like the sort of stuff you would have got from Arnie in the previous
Or
films,
Robert Patrick. Robert Patrick would have done that.
Don't know. Well, Robert Patrick would have got away with that. Yeah.
Like when he's dressed up as the marshal, and he walks up and he's talking to the military guys. Say, do you know where I can get a chopper?
The best one with Robert Patrick is actually whenever he sees he just gives a glance to a mannequin, and it's like,
oh yeah, the silver mannequin.
Yeah. That's a proper like subtle humor, done well, deadpan humor.
I think Robert Patrick's version, he did a slightly better job, and the only reason I say that is because what you just said. Robert Patrick didn't have to speak. He can just look at you and look at what he's doing, and you already know what he's thinking. This guy, his lines are very good, but he talks more in this. So where the T-800, it's almost more like a mime. I think Robert Patrick had a harder role to play.
And he played it better, I think. And plus, he was the original.
I mean, it's hit or miss, but they're both different characters, kind of. But yeah, you're not wrong.
He was the original, so he'd be the most memorable of the sort of more advanced Terminators. And I don't know much about this guy who's playing it, but yes, he does a solid enough job. But for me, Robert Patrick, based on only seeing this film with this new guy, Robert Patrick is a better actor, So, but I haven't seen much of this.
Yeah, this guy's
work,
newer.
to be fair.
You can't really judge him yet. That's not fair. But I hear what you're saying. But when the both planes collide, they have to take the parachutes. You got the Humvee, and she's hanging off the Humvee. Then they land on the dam, and then they're falling off the dam. And
this was
under the water.
Full on
Arnie's fighting underneath the water. It's awesome.
Oh no! It's. I mean, this is whenever it becomes like the proper popcorn stuff. You know what I mean? It's a summer blockbuster action film, and that's okay. Yeah. And they do a very solid job of all of that as well.
And they finally have a legit, we get sick of, Thurman, let's melt him. Oh, he's dead. But this one, they finally figured out we have to get him removed from the exoskeleton, because if we can get him removed from the exoskeleton, all we have to do is kill the exoskeleton.
Yeah.
That's his source. And I love the fact when they put him in this cylinder thing.
Yeah. And
they throw him in there and they're tearing his exoskeleton apart. Mm-hmm. It's fucking creepy. It almost looks human-like. Mm-hmm. And it's just fucking cool.
Yeah, I mean,
much better than put lava on him or whatever.
Well, that is a bit played out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically every Terminator since, But I think they do pour a bit of lava and shit on him as well, and they freeze him and stuff. But those are sort of nods back to the
exactly,
the ones before them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's some corniness when she's like, "You gotta wake up, because Arnie's fucking pretty much dead at this point."
Well, obviously,
come on,
wake up.
And then she goes, "Wake up, Carl." And he's like, "I'm Carl." Oh my God, here we go. No, this is getting.
I have grown a conscience. Yeah, and then his final line is corny and pure cheesy, and it's like something you would have expected in the second one. It's right up there with "Hasta la Vista, Baby." It's for John,
But I went with that, even though I do the Hulkiness got a little too much there.
I'd be disappointed if it didn't.
Exactly. You know what? You did. You're right. You expected it. Mm-hmm. But the flip side of that coin, Grace dies, and that was a more effective death.
It's the darker,
because
much darker.
Yes, well, she's human.
Yes,
but you see a big hole in their throat, and she tells her, "You got to take my power supply and stick it to him to kill him."
What's a sacrifice?
And she does. Now this is where this young actress did a little better. The Danny character, where she finally has to kill her and take out the power supply. Now, when Arnie takes the power supply and he sticks it to the dude, the Rev,
Yeah.
his death was effective too, because his was slow death. It was just you seeing him surging and melting and eating.
Yeah.
And he's just sitting there and he's looking at them, and there's a great shot. Again, nothing said. It's Sarah, and she just sits there watching him die, and you can see her almost want to cry for him.
Again,
Because she understands
Loss.
what he was trying to tell her. I mean, that is fucking good writing. And
Yes.
good acting.
Yeah, the acting totally sells it. By Hamilton.
And Arnie does that.
Yes,
But that's Arnie
yes.
doing that too.
I know, but Hamilton as well. It's both of them. So it is. So, yeah, I mean, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I would have loved for this film to be just a flipping cat and mouse between Sarah Connor and Arnie's Terminator. Arnie's Terminator not being a good guy, being a fucking killer like the
Well,
first
see, now you're just rewriting the whole film. I mean, it's stupid. What's the point of you reviewing this film?
I just thinking about
Oh, I wanted a bunch of fucking robot monkeys. So if I'm not getting that, I hate it.
No.
I mean, there's no point you reviewing this.
My point, no, my
There's
point
no
is,
point.
my
You
point
want-
is,
that's
no,
a
I'm going back
completely
to this
different
scene.
film.
I'm discussing this scene where I am saying it just goes to prove the acting and dramatic weight that both, especially Linda Hamilton, but also Arnie have. That's the point I'm making.
You weren't making that. You just said something about you wanted to see just him and her fighting cat and mouse. That had nothing to do with this scene.
Cameron should have hired me.
You know, Cameron would have fucking ended his career. What happened? Was it budgetary reasons? Was it you clashing with producers? No, it was Trevor. It was definitely Trevor.
He came back in time from Belfast, a war-torn, apocalyptic
He would shut
Belfast
the fuck
from
up
the future.
He wanted to cast all ex-Doctor Who's. It was fucking annoying.
He wanted to bring Matthew Smith back.
And the funny thing is, we'll bring up Doctor Who. You're welcome.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, we're going to end with this retrospective, okay? And then guess what we also get? Dun, dun, dun.
Yep.
At the beginning and the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I get my dun, 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 dun. So there you go. We're ending with the
No.
Terminator franchise.
I would like to discuss something else.
Oh, here we go. Fuck me sideways.
The Sarah Connor Chronicles, the spin-off TV series.
Oh, yes. I watched that. It's too bad it got canceled because I was getting into it. I actually enjoyed it.
I hadn't seen. I didn't get a chance to watch it. I don't know whether it was shown here. I know it is now. It's on ITV Player here now. So I did for this podcast watch the pilot episode. It's like an hour long or whatever. I wasn't impressed. It's basically Terminator if it was a soap opera.
It's actually not that bad. You can't do that.
Well, yes,
You've got to give us program.
yeah,
it's
I can't.
run. You can't.
Yeah, I can't judge the whole series.
It's actually quite good, and I was disappointed that it got canceled.
Yeah.
A couple of these shows, you have the Sarah Connor, you have the Exorcist that was coming out.
Yes,
These are
I
all
watched that.
really these are all decent shows and really well received. But for some reason, the studio wouldn't back them.
Well, I can't be
And-
fair on the Terminator series because I've only seen the pilot, even though I didn't really like the pilot. But
Summer Glau was actually pretty good in it. She played a Terminator.
yes, she's the good Terminator who's sent back.
Thomas Decker.
Lena
And then,
Headey.
of course, yeah, I like a lot. I like Lena.
I would say that the Exorcist series that came out a few years ago around the same time was complete rubbish.
No, it wasn't. No,
no, it was.
But we're not going to talk about that.
A different
We're not done.
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, different podcast, and you're
Yeah.
stupid and sexist.
And what were you going to say about Doctor Who?
Oh, you know, I never get you because you put down, we talked about in our past one, like, I'll give you an example, Buckaroo Banzai, which is fucking for Doctor Who fans, and you didn't like it. But this one, I think the problem with you, your mindset's Terminator 1, Terminator 1, Terminator 1, Terminator 1.
I'd
That's
admit
it.
that's true.
Yeah, and so you can't get outside that box and appreciate for somebody what some of these films do offer. I think you and I are on the same page of what was good and what wasn't. But for Doctor Who fans, this is almost like a wet dream. It's got some camp to it. It's got some cool little chases. It's got some cool little facts. it's kind of right up your kind of alley.
I don't dislike this film, Dark Fate. I mean,
I'm talking about in general the Terminator franchise where it went.
Oh yes, I know what you're saying, but generally, I mean, yes, I didn't go to see Dark Fate when it came out because it was so badly burnt by Genesis. It was so bad. But apart from Genesis, you know what? I have a soft spot for 3. I'll admit that. Sure, we've done a podcast about it. We've discussed it.
Yeah,
I will always
I'm
have
disgusted. Disgusted.
I will always have
Yes.
a soft spot for 2 because there's nostalgic reasons as well. I think 4 is very solid. So 6 is this one that we've just watched and reviewing is decent enough. Definitely nowhere near as bad as some people are making out. So I mean, out of 6 films, I pretty much like 5 of them. So that's an unfair thing to say. Although you will never touch the first. But I guess part of me needs to accept that as well.
Yeah, I think you do, because the same argument with Alien and Aliens. Are you going to hate Aliens because Alien was so superior? Yeah. It's one of those arguments. But I'll tell you what, as a franchise goes, this franchise gets a pass.
Oh yeah,
there's more hits here. I got Salvation, Terminator. Now this is not the order I like them. Mm-hmm. You can watch Salvation, Terminator, Judgment Day, and end with Dark Fate, and you have a nice complete little box set right there. And the other 2 never existed.
Well,
the other 2 are shit.
I'm going to list them in my order of favorite. Obviously, the first one. Then I would say, being totally honest, 2. Then 4. Then I have a soft spot for 3. Maybe 3 and 6 tied together.
You're saying this is just as good, if not maybe not as good as fucking 3. That coffin scene.
Yeah, 6 is probably better, but I'm basing it on my own sort of emotional sort of attachment to it. But if you want to boil it down as what's the better film, 6 or 3, 6. So yeah, okay, 1, 2, 4, 6. Well, let me make sure I haven't missed any. 3 and then 5. There you go.
All right, I go. Terminator 2. Dark Fate, Salvation, and fuck off of the others.
I like your gun.
That's what I would do.
I like your gun.
Oh, Jesus. Don't say that to me ever. Just don't.
I like your gun.
Just creepy. All right, guys. Time to say goodbye to Ali, but we'll be back.
Yeah, we're not
terrible. Terrible. Yeah, that was terrible. All right. We have a list of films we're going to be doing here, and I apologize in advance. We got a busy time coming up here. We're going to do a Western month because of the new Kevin Costner coming out. We got Mad Max, which we'll be getting to pretty quickly here. Then we got Twister, a little retrospective of Twister because we have the new Twister movie. Then we got Maxine, the conclusion of our T West trilogy. So we got a lot to do here. And so just bear with us if we kind of move things around. But we thought it'd be fun. We talk really shit cinema. And are they so bad they're good? Kind of, theory behind them. And we're going to start that off with Howard the Duck. I can't finish the sentence. Yeah. We're going to start off with Howard the Duck, George Lucas, and see what went wrong there or what went right.
Could be a long podcast.
Bestiality? You gotta find out. It's got Leah Thompson in underwear, so I'm pretty much giving it a pass.
But it's also got duck titties. So
oh, that's right, duck porn
in the bath. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. You know how much you like duck porn there, Trevor.
Oh, duck off.
This could be bad. So yeah, we're gonna talk. What are we talking? We're talking Howard the Duck. We're talking Street Fighter.
Yeah, I love Street Fighter, by the way.
Oh my, shut up.
I'm serious.
Van Damme. We're talking. What was the other ones we're doing? The other 2?
That one, Quatermain and Masters of the Universe.
Oh, Masters of the Universe, Dolph Lundgren, and we're going to do Alan Quarterman in The Lost City of Gold, which was a ripoff of Raiders of Lost Ark.
Oh yeah, totally.
But I remember enjoying it. So I'll be, and again, you got the over-the-top fucking James Earl Jones is the bad guy.
Dr. Kildare, it stars Richard Chamberlain.
And Sharon Stone.
That's right. Yeah. Apparently, there was a lot of behind the scenes conflict and fighting Apparently she was a complete diva on set, according to reports I've read. I wasn't there, obviously.
Well, probably sounds like a lot better going on behind the scenes than what happened on in front of the scenes.
Well, yeah. Exactly.
I just remember the scene where they're getting cooked in soup. So we'll end with that one. All right. Thanks for giving us a listen, guys. We really do appreciate it. We want to thank Georgia over there in the U.S. We want to thank California and Pennsylvania. Thank you so much. Those 3 states have really caught on to us and have quite a serious amount of downloads from you guys.
Thanks, guys.
Welcome to the team, and we appreciate the loyalty, and keep on listening. And give us a shout if something you want us to do, and maybe we'll get to it in the near future. You can reach out to us at citizenframe_podcast on Instagram and, of course, Facebook. We're done, and we'll chat later.